We wanted to do it because we wanted to show all the positive aspects of hip hop, because people see all the negative aspects about it, like the misogyny, talking about material wealth. That's just like the corporate part. That's the mainstream part. There's a much bigger culture.
Empowering communities through hip-hop activism and showing that it's not just, there's more than a negative side to hip-hop.
And so we want to bring that. We want to show the positive aspects, like women in hip-hop, what youth can do, and their part in hip-hop.
Thing about when you're doing anything that has to do with drumming, whether it's finding emotion to dance and movement, is to have fun. Like I said, it's a cipher. You're not there. It can be certain elements and emotions towards when you're drumming, but when you're in a circle, you want to remember that you guys are building, and each sound is representing a spirit that is guiding you.
This conference is having a lot of local hip-hop artists. A lot of our local artists that we're having are positive members of the community.
Our first day is women in hip hop, and how they have their own, their roles in hip hop and how they make things better. And we try to bring that message to people.
I like to establish a plan and then break the plan up. I want you to basically do a hip hop introduction of yourself to your partner. Okay? Make it funky, play with the words, give it some tempo.
We have so many people, from poets, rappers, different artists, from students from high schools, to show the power that hip hop has.
My name is Pomi Womi. I like my macaroni. I put some feta and some provolone on it.
Work that out.
I'm from Minnesota, but I rep Ethiopia. That's where I'm from. I'm going to Barcelona too next year, 6 months. I can't wait.
Oh. You guys, we can do a whole workshop on just this.
I want them to see that they can use hip hop as an organizing tool. It's not just the music. We can bring people together, and that's what we should do. We just had someone in the corner talking about, feminists and hip hop, which is a great thing because we need to spread that message.
The workshop I was just at was entitled "Who You Calling a B," which was held by Darika Blackman. She entitled what we see in hip hop is commercial hip hop, and that there was capitalism, racism, and sexism as the unholy trinity. And I do agree with that definitely, that sexism is a big part of why hip hop was looked at in a bad way.
A lot of what happens to us in society has to do with the broken relationships we experience in our families. A lot of the young people that I work with don't even have one caring individual in their lives. I was raped when I was 9 years old by my cousin, and I felt so ashamed that I didn't tell anybody for 3 years. I think it's important that we move beyond the rhetoric of the conversation and that we talk about the personal impact on the lives of women. Fuck you then, sedity ass bitch. Can't give nobody your number. Fuck you. Get the fuck out my face.
I wish you weren't our son's mom.
I mean, you nice and all, but I only like light-skinned hoes.
Damn, you got a fat ass bitch. Hey, can you fuck how you walk?
Not being able to respond, it made me feel very vulnerable, and at times, with each of the women, with the next woman that would say something, I felt as if I should defend myself, but I was forced not to. And I personally felt with each comment, I was a little more enraged knowing that these women were affected hurtfully by these hurtful comments.
You do hear it every day, and you kind of just, you're like, oh, it's part of being a woman, you brush it off, you don't even talk about it.
This exercise was really for me, it made me again worry, more, just because it's going on every day. You guys are saying things that happen to you personally.
The fact that you were forced to be quiet, when I sat down, I wanted to say, I wanted to correct every single one.
I did myself learn more than I thought I knew. My sisters have not gone through what those women did tell us about themselves personally, so it was definitely for me an eye-opener.
Many of the young men that do this run, laugh, refuse. We don't take a no. If you can't go through for 60 seconds what I go through for 40 years, Don't call yourself a man.
Society makes us think that we have to, fight for this girl and all this other stuff. Like, you could just take that girl and walk out of the situation and lift her up in your own way. Say, that ain't even right. You bomb or whatever. Whatever you have to do. Like, you could lift them up yourself too.
We can bring people together and have a discussion about what they feel is needed within rap and hip hop, and then we need to show that. I think this conference helps us with that.
As long as hip hop exists,
hip hop.
there's always going to be hatred of women in hip hop.
As long as there is hip hop, women will be demeaned. But that's not hip hop isn't the only, whatever you want to call it, lifestyle that demeans women. Country, I hear it in country songs. I mean, you watch movies.
As long as we build, especially with women MCs, and then make them realize, people realize that women are just as much part of hip hop as males are, then hip hop can be a tool to end misogyny. And also the question I was a little confused on, because we're talking about mainstream rap, we're talking about hip hop in general, like underground stuff. Because underground, I know a lot of MCs that wouldn't talk like a mainstream rapper would about women, because they just don't see it the same way.
I don't think of Lil Wayne or whatever, because in my opinion, that's what I call urban music, because it's not really following, I guess, the history and kind of the core of hip hop, and obviously everything evolves, which, hip hop has evolved, but to me, to that extent, it's almost like it's ripping things to shreds. It's like you go buy a designer dress, and then all of a sudden you decide to, get a scissor and snip it up, and then, okay, it's still the same thing, which it is not anymore, because you've taken it apart.
There's never been any point in the entire spectrum of hip hop where there hasn't been some type of misogyny in the lyrics, basically. You go back to 79, Sugar Hill Gang. If your girl starts acting up, then you take her friend. That's misogyny to me right there. It's been there since the inception, and it's gonna always be there. I don't agree with it, but it's the reality.
Hip hop is a movement, it's a culture, it's our culture, and this is how we're gonna use it.
The U of M and Voices Merging has a very diverse audience. We appeal to not just one sort of student group or not just one sort of race group. We appeal to a variety, and for Lee, it's personally very good to see.
I don't need this right now.
Yeah, no pressure.
Thelonious fingers thought melodically over sordid tongues. Souls laid bare on breakbeats, siphoned through cotton stalks and scratched across the night to barter new drinks for slaves who refused to return to plantation nightmares.
This is our third time doing the conference. The first time we did it, we had like 12 people show up. The second time we did it, we had 20 to 40 people show up. And this time it's like over 300 people that show up.
From the very beginning, we knew we wanted to go and take the vices and turn them into something that was healing, something that was positive, and make sure we highlight that.
My cousins and my friends were doing it in their bedrooms, and I didn't even know how big it's gonna get. I didn't even know I'm gonna be part of it. I learned that the real hip hop comes from here, from the depths of your belly. You don't need to be supportive, because no one who wanted to do anything against power were ever supported.
We noticed that in order to do something big like hip hop, you have to have a strong community of people, and so we decided to get everyone involved in this. We had the women's group involved. We had the Cypher Coalition, BSU, La Raza, and all kinds of student organizations and people outside to help us with this so that we could build a strong community.
I've just been impressed with the work ethic and dedication by some of the lead organizers, like Jasmine and Maura and Anna and Ashana and Joy and Lenora.
Nobody's really giving us as much of a voice as young people saying 25 and younger. So like nobody's really trying to give us a voice, and hip hop can be that way that we have a voice.
Before me and my brother came out with Delicious Venom, there was no rap, Hmong identified rap groups that were writing lyrics that were conscious or that were about community or culture and about social issues that affect us on a day-to-day basis, whether it's racism or the human rights violations in Laos.
It's making people aware that hip hop is not something that should be absent from academic curriculums.
I don't even say it's as much hip hop as it is art. I believe art itself is a very powerful thing because it's very personal, but not only personal, it's a very good communicative tool, so it connects people from different backgrounds.
It's a point of study. It's a way of life. It's a culture. It's a movement. It's a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
In the jazz age, that was cool, and that was what was hip, and that was hot, and that was, to me, urban art. And so jazz had connected people from the upper class to the lower class. It connected people from Mississippi to Chicago, from Chicago to Paris, from Paris to Zimbabwe, just like hip hop is doing today.
And alliteration is when the initial sound rhymes in a group of 3 or more words. Assonance, son. Assonance. Now this right here. This is when the inner vowel sound rhymes.
The biggest challenges of hosting such a big conference would be putting everything together. We have like over 20 presenters, performers, everything, and it's just like combining everyone and putting them together so that we can move forward. We had to get the word out like crazy. We were just all over the town. We had our street team. We were in the city pages.
All the people that come together and then put so much time into it, I was really impressed. Like, this is just a college group.
It really connects us with not professional, but like people who are doing this as their daily life. The older people that we can use as mentors or we can use as guidance. So for places we want to go as students.
I search for what it is that I want, and I keep searching until I find it. And what's given to me is like violence and hypersexualism and just pain. So, and since I don't feel represented in that, so I know that there's something more than that. So that's why I search.
Who is that? Oh, that 50?
I can't see.
So what's his story?
I've been shot 9 times. I want you guys to visualize Uncle Sam pointing at all the white soldiers back in the days, like, we want you. He's like, we want you to join the street team. We want you to join the gang.
We should vote him for president.
When we were talking about how to do the workshop, we wanted to first focus on things that Voices Merging does to build such a good community of people from all these different backgrounds.
It's so amazing how people just came together. You saw people from all different backgrounds and just coming together, being in a workshop and being able to relate. And I think that's the most important thing, being able to relate to what someone says. Because we are like talking about stereotypes, so is he himself putting up this stereotype?
He's making money out of his situation, but like his situation isn't a stereotype because people get shot at. That's truth. That's reality.
Is that how the people get shot at? You have a little girl that's leaving a party and she gets shot at. So is this what it looks like to be shot at?
I think it's trying to portray that that's his life.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
I have to wear this bulletproof vest and I'm wearing this necklace because I'm going to be doing something. You know, after this shoot, I'm going to be doing something.
I feel like he's just trying to make it look cool. Like, yeah, I got shot, so I'm going to wear this vest.
That's America's Most Wanted.
America's Most Wanted. Actually, this man, he was a college student. He was from LA. He was raised in the hood, but he was a college student. Was walking his friend wearing red. Somebody thought the people thought he was in the gang, and they shot him. He died. First, he had to get creative of positive energy around the ideal, and then we had to get rid of any stereotypes that may hinder us from communicating with each other, and then find out ways that we can effectively communicate with each other. How is our first images dangerous to him or to people that we might see?
He died from that.
How's it dangerous?
Yeah.
Because if I was to see this person and see him in red and just immediately think that, I could tell somebody else that, and other people, I can spread that around and tell people that this is, what he is, even if he's not. So that's dangerous to his safety for me telling somebody else that he is.
That's like crushing his opportunity to either get a job, make some money, take care of a family, or whatever he was doing.
One thing I was hoping from it was to make sure that people not so much focus on the experiences that they had, but the emotion they got from that experience, the hurt or the pain or the anger they might have had in that experience.
Perception is reality for a lot of people. What I see, if that's the only time I'm going to see you, that's it. That's the truth.
It stops being about the idea of acceptance and it starts more being about getting on a pedestal and showing people who you are. But this is about who everybody is here. But I think one thing we're doing right now is we're venturing into racism. We're venturing into judging people by the way they look. it's really dangerous to do that with anybody. It doesn't matter if you're minority or majority.
We are all actors. I mean, we can't really stop what somebody else does to us, but we can stop what we can do to other people. So I hope that they got that out of the whole workshop, and I know I got that just from hearing from their stories. Like, I really don't want nobody feeling that way because of me.
The stereotypes that people often have about, hip-hop music are being challenged here because, we're gathered around and listening to the very movers and shakers in the movement who have been countering those stereotypes for a long time.
When you get in a room full of creative people, you never know what's going to happen. People are just so creative and like so willing. And when you're like, hip hop allows you to be yourself. And when you're yourself, you just be free.
The game is ours. We bounce is out. Eliminate. Our raps are fat like they've been eating at McDonald's. You can't put your hands around them. Rosie O'Donnell's. Meaning you can't jack it, pack it up, try to have it. Spitting on the real has become our habit.
It helped us highlight everything that is positive about what we're doing and actually use it as a positive tool to help transform ourselves and help transform the community as well.
Since we're so focused on community and bringing people together, that this conference is going to be easy because we need each other to help this get out.
Oh, you want to try that shit again? Okay.
Voices Merging is my family, and so there's times that we're just like, oh my gosh, I don't know how we're gonna get through this, and like we have to get up so early for this, and how are we gonna make it through the day? But since we're such a family, we're so connected that we're like we're like the Monster energy drink. We keep, I just drink from them and I just keep going.
I'm already making plans for the future to stay connected with people I'm already connected with, like Maura, like Anna, like Jasmine, like LaShawna, and then open up my network and connect with more people and hopefully do bigger and better things.
It's also showing that there are people out there who are committed and passionate about their activism and human rights.
So it connects us with them so we can build a bigger community and continue the work that they're doing once they stop doing that work. Because at one point it is going to have to go to us younger people.
Everything is hip hop. You have art, you have fashion, you have music. Everything is hip hop, and I think that because of that, if you don't, you can like one song and relate that to your life somehow.
Running a hip-hop program, but not implementing, the knowledge, power, wisdom, and understanding that has to be a part of it to actually make meaning out of what you're doing is problematic for me.
I was in a hip-hop group a few years back, and we did what you call, I forgot, it was kind of like some kind of gathering where there was like 3 major record labels there. There was over 400 bands there that weekend. True story, they said, you know what, by far y'all were the best band the whole weekend, but we have one problem: your lyrical content. If you're willing to change your lyrical content, we're willing to sign you. All 3 of them. Then we had one lady who was just trying to really convince me, oh, you can rap about being a gangster and all those different things, because you see certain artists when they grab their award, they thank God, they say, well, I thank Jesus and all that, because it really just matters what's in your heart. And what I was trying to get her to understand, what's in my heart is going to come out from my mouth. You get what I'm saying? So,
all of the best art, not entertainment, but all of the best art in hip hop is free. If you really just take the time to expand your horizons, there are amazing artists all over the world making like revolutionary, conscious hip hop that you can get access to just by looking it up.
Voices Merging is an urban arts group doing spoken word nights every other Monday at the U. And so it's kind of an obvious focus to focus on hip hop because this is like the art form and the cultural heritage that's drawn upon in this group.
We are in an environment in which we are able to engage each other in very healthy conversation and yet be safe to be different.
I go to all their events and I appreciate what they're doing, which is why I got involved with this conference.
Today, we were kind of comparing what is, rooted hip hop compared to what is the mainstream view. Aerosol art, DJing, dancing, these are all things that get pushed to the back in the mainstream view.
And you could literally put a syllable on each of these. That, at its simplest form, you can say, I am see more. And more is landing on that 4, and that's my first bar.
There's a lot of writers out there that, they've started tag banging, like gang banging between writers. I'd rather sit and spend 10, 15, 20 hours painting a mural than catch 50 tags going up and down the block. Because to me, that's the way I like to express myself, and this is an art form of expression.
This style right here, see how it goes down in the 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 beat? Hip hop is intelligent movement, intelligent movement, intelligent movement, intelligent movement.
There's so much going on and so many different groups are interacting. A great thing about the Vices the Verses concert is that this year we actually incorporated a lot of art, dance, writing, music, DJing, all that together. We combined all those arts, so we really got a feel for a wide scope view of what hip hop really is.
I learned a lot about trying to respect the space that these people have built and respect the work they're already doing, because I didn't want to come in as an outsider and act like I knew what was going on when I didn't. So I really was trying to be like, hey, I'm interested, I want to get involved, but also understand these folks had a vision that they carried out over a year ago doing all the planning.
Within each interaction of different people, within each interaction of different speakers, you learn a little bit of the nuance and the complexity that is hip-hop.
What's transpired? What have you learned? How are you different?
I just saw how hip-hop has been used internationally and how it has been a voice for the voiceless.
Make sure it's still a liberating voice. Make sure that we don't allow it to leave the people and have other people use it to oppress us.
One lady in particular opened my eyes to things that I just let pass by me. Like just the common stuff that is said to women on a day-to-day basis. But when I was asked to remember it and bring it back up, I could remember every single thing every man has said to me, and I got angry. And I was told how to deal with that anger and how to express that anger.
The culture is born of a desire to articulate alternative histories and to be transformed by them, to share stories. And sometimes that story is in color, and sometimes it's in movement, and sometimes it's in word, and sometimes it's in sound.
When hip-hop was first emerging, we had it all. We had the good, the bad, the ugly. And the problem that we face the most right now is the elevation of one particular kind of hip-hop, which is quote-unquote commercial hip-hop, which is, think about it as like the rise of junk food. We have to be critical of how hip-hop, quote-unquote hip-hop, as it is, as an industry, has been silencing other voices.
And it's been an outstanding weekend. I just want to leave you guys there, and thank you so much.
Put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up. I'm so raw, I'm so raw, I'm so raw, I'm so raw.
I think it shows the impact of hip hop. I think it really speaks loud that hip hop is grabbing people from all sorts of cultures, all sorts of races, and it just shows the impact that hip hop has had on us.
Hip-hop is both simple and complex. It is embodied with it contradictions, and embodied with it an engagement of difference.
Say real hip hop. Real hip hop. Say real hip hop. Real hip hop. Say voices merging. Voices merging. Say voices merging. Voices merging. Yeah.
I woke up this morning, opened up my eyes and prayed. It's a brand new day, no matter what nobody says.
I think it's a good affirmation of our work and the fact that there are people out there that are interested in this message, interested in thinking about what does hip hop mean in our communities now.
It seems like all the little contributions that people made, they kind of all meshed together and worked out.
It's a brand new day.
The conference is not the speakers, but us. The conference is not interaction, you sitting there like listening to what they have to hear, but taking what they hear, discussing it with your neighbor, and finding something new.
We were born with the beat, with the rhythm. Nobody can ever take that away. Great Granny say, everybody always running around talking about a revolution. Talking about a revolution. She said most folks these days don't know a good goddamn about a real revolution.
We all need to keep reminding ourselves that this hip-hop exists in a tradition. Hip-hop was given to us by many other people, and as long as we keep learning about the history and we are like grounded in the history when we continue to do this work, then we'll be reminding the young people that are coming up to be as well.
Mind like gold from Berber Coast. Memory swallowed by living ghosts. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. The halls of independence to the fields of the Indies.
They learned a lot in the conference. They saw it in action. They saw it today in the concert. We had a whole lot of different artists that completely counter what the mainstream stereotype of hip-hop is.
We all need to keep reminding ourselves that this hip-hop exists in a tradition. Hip-hop was given to us by many other people, and as long as we keep learning about the history and we are like grounded in the history when we continue to do this work, then we'll be reminding the young people that are coming up to be as well.
We got a real special surprise for the people that coordinated this conference to help them out. Could you guys come up here? Anna, Laura, Lashana, Jasmine, yes.
Go on up there, girl.
We all kept our faith. Maybe we like kind of would stumble here or there, but we definitely kept the faith that this is something that we're able to do, that we are going to do, that the community kind of needs, and that we, like as Voices Emerging, will continue to do.
Well, thank you all for coming. It wouldn't be a conference without any attendees, so we thank you all for being here with us.
Give yourselves a hand.
These people have such big like goals and everything that I'm just trying to keep up, and I just want to appreciate you guys for your big dreams and everything. So.
It's important for us to capitalize on this energy that we have right now in this time. So I think that, you know, if anything, we'll go into our open mics and everything with a new perspective on things.